Paul has never lacked confidence. This is obvious in the way he plays and walks and talks. And while sometimes it has gotten him into trouble, it is also one of the main reasons a man who stands 6 foot tall on a good day has been able to turn himself into one of the top 10 point guards of all time. And yes, the Rockets run on James Harden and his 36. It feels like 63, right? 36 points per game. But if Harden is the gas, CP is the spark plug. And when he's feeling it, no team or official is safe. Take last night at the Staples Center. Chris, of course, knows every inch of that court from his Clippers days. You know, which spots on the floor have just a little more give, where the secret tunnels are. And he certainly made himself right back at home. He hit 5 of his 8 three-point attempts. He was everywhere on defense. Passing was off the charts. Take a look at this nifty little move between JaMychal Green's legs. That's just mean. And then about a minute later, we got this, about 60 feet from the basket at the buzzer, and yep, it goes in because of course it does. There are a lot of guys who don't try that as time is expiring, or they'll fake try, right? Waiting to launch until just a hair after that buzzer sounds so as not to hurt their shooting percentage. CP is not one of those guys. He has absolute confidence the ball will do what he has told it to do. He also, as we have seen, has the belief he is right a lot of the time, especially with officials. And last night we got a little of this too as the teams were walking off the court for halftime. T-Mac loves this. Referee Ken Maurer explaining something to James Harden, Chris openly mocking his body language. Then Maurer and CP got into it before Chris finally goes back to the locker room. Honestly, CP could easily have gotten a tech there, but he didn't. Instead, he would end the night with 29, 7, and 4, and it was clear his confidence was not just gaudy, but infectious, influencing the whole team. After the game, PJ Tucker told our Tim McMahon, quote, "If we're doing what we're supposed to do, nobody can beat us. Anybody, doesn't matter. If we play at this level, we're going to win. I don't care who we play. If we play like tonight, we are going to win." It's funny, when talking about whether CP is an X factor for this year's Rockets team, most people bring up his health, right? Can he make it through a whole playoff run this time? Do the people of Houston need, I don't know, Chris Paul prayer candles? Maybe? I don't know. Let's see. But while CP does need to stay on the floor for Houston to be successful, I'm not going to be able to do this with my bad hand.
Okay.
I will tell you guys that he brings that confidence. And as the Rockets near the playoffs, they intend to turn that spark into some real fire. Pretty good, right? We're going to keep this right here. Tracy, you follow the Rockets team closer than almost what? There's no.
That was just my Chris Paul.
Oh, your Chris Paul invitation. You're at a ton of the home games. You've been watching this team develop over the year. So I want you to fill in the blank for me. To me, this has to do with Chris Paul. To you, fill in the blank. The Rockets will win the Western Conference if?
There's a number of things. Well, if they stay healthy, Chris Paul stays healthy. But James Harden. I mean, it all boils down to James Harden. What everybody talks about, he is phenomenal in the regular season, but when we get to the playoffs, he is not the same guy, right? It's going to be hard. Typically, for great players, you have a great regular season. What you want to do is elevate your game in the playoffs. Now, it's going to be hard for him to elevate. He's averaging 36 points. But he has to be consistent at playing the way he's playing right now. We can't have James Harden in the playoffs where he's 7 for 30. He's not getting to the free throw line and just settling for three-pointers, right? We can't have that James Harden. We got to have James Harden that is efficient, that is constantly putting the pressure on the defense. I'm not worried about the other guys because they're going to do their job in terms of defending and knocking down open shots. That's their job. James Harden has to be James Harden as he is in the regular season.
Yeah, we haven't seen that.
We haven't seen that.
Right.
We haven't seen that. We've seen, a little bit last year. I won't say, like a lot of people say, oh, he choked last. No, he actually played better in the playoffs last year, but it wasn't up to the expectations that we want for him. So this year, if he plays the way he's been playing in the regular season, they're going to win. There's no doubt about that. They will win. They have a championship team. I don't know what more you want Daryl Morey to put around you because he's done everything. This is a championship team. They should win a championship this year.
Rockets win the Western Conference if Steph Curry has a sprained ankle at the wrong time.
Wow. So you're thinking
you're so disrespectful.
Under their control.
I just watched the Warriors actually focus the other night against the Nuggets. and they just squashed them. They're so good. And what P.J. Tucker said last night is right. If they play that way, they will win. They shot 47% on threes. If a team like the Rockets that shoots volume threes shoots that high of a percentage, they are going to win. Can they do that 4 times out of 7 against the Warriors when the Warriors are really engaged and healthy? I just don't believe it. And I don't mean it's not a slight on the Rockets. It's an homage to the greatness of the Warriors, who are one of the greatest teams of all time.
Didn't they do that last year?
They didn't do it last year because they didn't win 4 times.
Chris Paul did go out.
Well, I understand that, but Andre Iguodala was out. They didn't do it. The only time the Warriors have lost 4 times in 7 games in the last 4 years was a historic comeback that involved a suspension and some of the greatest play ever from one of the greatest players ever. And that took a narrow like this to happen.
So you put no stock in how the Rockets have played Golden State this year in the regular season? No stock at all?
Do you put stock in regular season versus playoffs? You just talked about how Harden's not the same player in the regular season. 4 out of 7, I just don't think they can do it.
Listen, James Harden is showing up this year. There's no way he's going to have another playoff season the way he's been having.
It's not a slight on the Rockets. It's a bowing to the greatness of the Warriors.